Ceuta Shadow. Thriller. Author, Pavel Kostka, PPKPP. Night felt heavy over Ceuta. The city lay on the edge of Europe, a fragile border between two worlds. The air was thick with salt and tension, the kind that could not be explained by weather alone. In the harbor, hundreds of young men crowded together. All of them came from Morocco. All claimed to be fleeing war. But there was no war. That was the first thing that troubled Isabel Rojas. The second was their faces. Every one of them looked the same. The same calm. The same direction. The same silence. Isabel stood on the elevated walkway, watching the crowd. Her eyes stopped on one man. Tall, lean, with a deep scar running across his cheek. He did not look like a refugee. He looked like someone who knew exactly what he was doing. When their eyes met, he smiled. It was not the smile of a man seeking help. It was the smile of someone who had already won. 2 hours later, Isabel's colleagues found an abandoned police car. The engine was still running. The doors were open. The patrol had vanished. On the seat lay a single phone. On its screen glowed one message: "What war are they fleeing?" Isabel felt her stomach tighten. She had heard that sentence before. It had spread through Sweden as a warning about a new wave of migrants. But why was it here? And why on the phone of a missing officer? She began to investigate. In an empty warehouse, she found something she was never meant to see. A map of Europe lay on the table. It was not a map of refugee routes. It was a map of operations. Each route led to cities where crime had been rising for months. Each marked with the same symbol, a black crescent and the number 20. In the corner was a list of names. All young men. All from Morocco. All 20 years old. Isabel knew she had to find the man with the scar. When she finally tracked him down, he was sitting in a deserted cafe. He wasn't eating or drinking. He was waiting, as if he knew she would come. Isabel sat across from him. Her voice was steady, though her hands trembled. She asked him why they were here. The man looked at her with terrifying calm. "Because Europe sleeps," he said. "And when it sleeps, it's easy to reshape it." Isabel whispered, "What war are you fleeing?" He smiled. "We're not fleeing war. We're bringing it." At that moment, the city went dark. An explosion shook the harbor. The crowd moved not in panic, but with purpose. Isabel realized Ceuta was not the destination. It was the gate. And the man with the scar was not a refugee. He was a commander. When Isabel woke up in the hospital, Spain was already in chaos. Sweden had closed its borders. France declared a state of emergency. From Morocco came thousands more young men, all the same age, all with the same expression. No one claimed to flee war anymore, because the war had already begun. And Europe noticed too late. Isabel rose from her hospital bed. Her body ached, but her mind was clear. She knew the man with the scar was still alive. She knew the plan was still unfolding. And she knew that if she didn't find him, Europe would never wake again. She stepped out into the night, heavier and darker than before. The streets were empty, but the air was alive with something she couldn't name. Something coming closer. She stopped at the hospital gate and looked into the darkness. Somewhere far away, a voice whispered, not aloud, but inside her mind. "It's already too late." Isabel didn't stop. She knew that even if it was late, there was still a chance. And that chance had a name. The scar. She walked into the night. She didn't know where she was going. She didn't know what she would find. But she knew she had to keep moving. She had to find the man who brought war. She had to stop the plans spreading across Europe like poison. She had to fight something bigger than herself, bigger than Spain, bigger than the entire continent. The night was long. The streets were silent. But Isabel felt she was not alone. She felt eyes watching her. Steps following her. Every breath recorded. Every move part of a game she didn't understand. But she didn't stop. Because she knew that if she stopped, everything would end. When she reached the harbor, she saw a silhouette standing on the pier, staring at the sea. It was him. The scar. Isabel approached. Her heart beat faster than ever before. The man turned. His eyes were calm. His face expressionless. His voice quiet. "Europe is no longer what it was," he said. "Change is inevitable. You are only the last obstacle." Isabel knew this was the moment that would decide everything: her, him, Europe, the future. She took one step forward. The man smiled, and the night fell into darkness once again.